Here are a bunch of historical documents, and here's what you look like when you're trying to understand. Here's the thing, you're gonna see a metric buttload of these on your AP AP World, and AP Euro exam, and if you don't have a reliable method for interpreting them quickly, you burn. So that's what I'm gonna help you with in this video. And by the end, I'm gonna give you a little secret for what to do when you have no idea what a document means. So if you're ready to get them brain cows milked, let's get to it. Step 1 to interpreting documents, read the prompt or question. Now you're gonna get documents in your multiple choice, your SAQs, and your DBQs. And you are going to be sorely tempted to just start reading the document so you can try to understand it. But hear me now, do not start there. That will waste your time. Start by reading the prompt or the question attached to the document, and here's why. Remember that the purpose of these AP history courses is to get you to think like an historian. And working historians don't just read and analyze documents for funsies. A historian always has a purpose for trying to understand a document. Like there's a question in their mind and they're trying to see if this document can somehow answer that question. So that's what you need to do as well. You have to start by reading the prompt or the questions in the multiple choice. Only then do you have any sense of what you're going to be looking for in this document. I mean, one document could potentially be used to answer 1,000 different questions, but you only have one question to answer, and that question needs to inform what you're looking for in the document. So on a practical note, when you open your exam, start by reading the questions or the prompt and marking it up. For multiple choice, quickly read the cluster of questions attached to the document and circle or underline the main idea and the historical thinking skill like this. Contributed most directly, enactment of the law, and actions immediately led to. Okay, so this tells me I'm going to need to understand what the document is saying, and I'm going to need to know what caused the events it describes and what its effects were. And do the same thing with your SAQs and DBQs. You've got to know what to look for before you start reading. All right, step 2, read the document. Now, this step can be broken down into 2 sub-steps, and I know this is starting to sound confusing, but stick with me. The more you practice this, the more second nature it'll become. First, read the source or attribution of the document. In my experience, this is the most skipped step among students, but it is so important. These couple of lines are going to give you a variety of information depending on the document. It'll tell you who wrote it, or what kind of document it is, or in what context it was written, or what year it was written, or some combination of all of those. And the date is important. It's going to help you put this document in context of what else was going on, and that's going to help you answer the questions that follow. And then knowing whether you're reading a personal letter or a royal decree can change the way you understand it. In some cases, they even tell you how to interpret this document. Here it says that this cartoon is from a satirical magazine called Puck. So you already know just by reading this that the realities portrayed here will be exaggerated and critical, like that's what satire is. And all of that will get you a long way before you even start reading the document, which is sub-step 2, read the document or look at the image. And you need to do this pretty quickly, and all you're looking for is the main idea that relates to your question or the prompt. Like, what does this document say about the question that you're considering? And once you understand that, step 3, summarize the document. Now is the time that you need to write a short summary of the contents of this document. Now, you probably don't have enough time to do this for the multiple choice sections, but you should definitely do this for the SAQs and the DBQ. You know, try to keep your summary to 1 sentence, maybe 2, and for this document, maybe it would look like this. The Dutch imperial government in Java needs more laborers for their factories, but most peasants are already overloaded with other work to meet Dutch demand. Do yourself a favor and pause this, read that document, read my summary, it will help. Now, I'll tell you in a moment what to do if you don't understand a document, but just let me explain why this summary can help you earn more points on the SAQ and the DBQ. In both of those kinds of writings, you're going to need to support your arguments with the documents, and you get no points for quoting the document. But if you summarize it in your own words, then you can use those words in your answer and show how that document serves as evidence. Okay, so what if I can't understand the document? This is the moment of panic, right? You've got this old, dusty document full of words or images that you can't understand, and you just can't seem to crack that nut. So what do you do? Well, I'm going to assume that you have a decent grasp of the content of your course, and if you don't, well, there's not much you can do. But if you've been studying and you're relatively prepared, here's something you can do in this situation. Try to answer the question or the prompt with only what you find in the attribution for that document. And let me show you. This is document 7 from the 2019 AP World History DBQ, and it wins the prize for the most confusing document in the exam's history. So many students had no idea what to make of this image. But look, the prompt has to do with how the Portuguese transformed maritime trade in the Indian Ocean, and now look here. This tells you that the box was made in India specifically for export to Portugal. So here's the thing, you don't even need to look at the image to know exactly how this document addresses the prompt. Just by looking at these 2 lines without even looking at the image, you can find out that the Portuguese had transformed the Indian Ocean trade so significantly that local markets in India were making luxury goods primarily for export to Portugal. It's all right there. So if you just can't understand a document and you are out of ideas, just rely on the information you already have in your brain and see if you can combine it with the information here, and maybe, just maybe, you can make the connection. All right, click here to find out what to do with your documents once you've interpreted them. And click here to grab my AP review packs that are going to help you get a 5 on that exam in May. I'll catch you on the flip-flop. Heimler out.